Hey Internet! When I released my first video last year, showing you how to fight against your custom Time Patroller in a transformed state, I got a lot of questions asking me, well, what about Super Saiyan 4? You see, gods are easy, but giant hairy ape people? Not so much. But after several on and off attempts at thinking about it, I finally figured it out. So today, we're going to be taking a look at how to create a perfect Super Saiyan 4 version of your CaC and fight against him or her in a transformed state. Are you excited? I'm excited. So the way this works is we're going to take an existing Super Saiyan 4 skill and look at how that affects our CaC. As we can see, when my Time Patroller transforms, his hands, feet, and pants stay the same, but his chest, hair, and aura all change. So what we want to do is create a mod of our custom character and then replace the textures that change while leaving the ones that stay the same. To begin, we're going to need to download a couple of things. If you don't already have it, you'll need to download and follow the instructions to install Eternity's mod installer. We'll also need to grab another one of his tools called CaC2X2M and drop that in our Xenoverse root directory. Then we'll need a tool called EMBPack and a mod that adds the Super Saiyan 4 Awaken skill into the game. For the mod, I'm going to be using LazyBone's New Transformations mod. You can link to all of these in the description. Once you have everything downloaded, we'll start in our Xenoverse 2 root directory to add the Super Saiyan 4 skill into the game. To do that, you'll want to unpack the New Transformations mod someplace easy to get to. Once that's done, go to your Xenoverse 2 root directory and open up the Xenoverse 2 mod installer. Click Add Mod, and navigate to where you just unpacked New Transformations. I don't like my Time Patroller's hair for Super Saiyan 4 at all, so I'm going to select the hair-changing version of the mod. And for this tutorial, I'm only going to install the Super Saiyan 4 skill. Once that's done, we need to run LazyBone's personal installer. So we can close this and come back to the New Transformations folder and run this executable program. Most of this only matters if you're using other mods in the pack, so do what's appropriate for you. Once you've finished the installation, go back to your root and open up the CaC2X2M tool that we downloaded from Eternity. Then we need to navigate to where our Xenoverse 2 saves are located. For most people, that will be in your computer's program files, Steam, user data, and then your Steam ID. Then you want the ID number for Xenoverse 2, which is 323470. Open that. Open this remote folder, Xenoverse 2, and select this save. This brings up all of your custom characters from your game. Select the character that you want to make into a Super Saiyan 4. I'm using Tobega, and we need to give him a character code. Every character in the game has a unique 3-letter code, so we need to give him one that the game isn't already using. Or we can randomly generate one. I'm just going to go with TAB for the sake of simplicity. Whatever you go with, memorize it and write it down. It's going to be really important in a bit. Down here is where you have all of the costume presets that you've created in the game. While you can do multiple at the same time, it's really much easier if you just do one at a time. So pick the one that you want, and hit OK. And I'm just going to save this to my desktop. So what we've just done is we've turned our custom character into a mod. So if we installed this right now, Tobega would show up at the end of my character roster as a selectable character, which the game already does now as of DLC something or other, so that would be kind of pointless. So we need to modify this file. So let's go back to where our Xenoverse 2 tools are located and open up the XV2 character creator. Click the Open button, and select the X2M file we just created. Only a few things to change in here. First and foremost, we want to relabel Tobega as a Super Saiyan 4. Then we want to come to the Aura tab. We'll enable custom auras, and then we'll copy from a character's usage. And now we want to find one of the characters in the game who's already using the Super Saiyan 4 aura. Or really, you can make the character's aura whatever you want. If you want a Super Saiyan Blue aura or something for this, that's totally your call. But that is all we need to do in here. So let's go up to Save and make a copy of our mod. And I'll rename it to say edited, just so we don't confuse the two. Cool, now let's add our time patroller back into the game. Open up the installer. Add mod. Select the edited version of your CaC X2M file. You can choose to install it in a new slot, or, if you already have an entry for your CaC, you might choose to add it as a new costume to an existing entry. I'm just going to create a new one. Okay, so now all the files that we're going to need are in the game, and if we were to launch Xenoverse 2 right now, we would see that there's now a completely normal looking slot with Tobega at the very end of my character roster. Now we need to make him a Super Saiyan 4. The first step for that is giving him a unique hairstyle, so that when he transforms, he doesn't keep his short hair. To do that, open up the Xenoverse 2 in-game character creator and find a hairstyle that you like. I think this one looks kinda Super Saiyan 4-y. Type 8. So if we were to come back to LazyBone's mod directory and go to the extras folder, we can find all of the vanilla hairstyles from the game. Now this part isn't set up quite the way you'd think. The number files that we see here don't line up perfectly with the hair type numbers in the game. You see, the game starts counting hair types at the number 1, which makes sense, but the program begins counting at the number 0, so all of the hair types are off by 1 in these asset folders. So since I chose type 8 for Tobega's Super Saiyan 4 hair, I need the files that are labeled 007. So I'll copy these. Then let's create a new folder someplace easy to get to. Let's call it Super Saiyan 4 Assets. And then paste these files inside. Now the way that LazyBone's mod works, every transformation has an ID number, and all of its textures are labeled with that number. So if you go into his README document, you can find that Super Saiyan 4 is number 256. We need to know that so we can get the upper body and tail textures from the game. So let's come back into our Xenoverse 2 root directory, and come to this data folder. This is where all of our modded files live once we install them. Come to Character, select the folder for your gender, HUM for males, HUF for females, and come down to the assets that are labeled 256. These are LazyBone's Super Saiyan 4 textures. We only want the ones that are labeled Bust. Copy these, and then paste them in with our hair textures. Once we have those, come back over here, back up to the character window, and come to the folder that has your Time Patroller's ID that we wrote down earlier. This TAB folder is the version of Tobega that we installed earlier. And what we need to do is swap our Time Patroller's texture IDs with the correct hair and bust textures. But the way the game works, this TAB version of Tobega will only recognize files with these names that it's already using. So we need to rename our Super Saiyan 4 assets to be the same as these so that we can trick the game into making us a Super Saiyan 4. We'll start with the bust. If we look in our Tobega folder and we find the bust files here, we can see that they are all number 607. This is because the Supreme Kai tunic that he's wearing is costume number 607. Your character's bust number will be different depending on what costume he or she is wearing. But once you know what the number is, come back to your Super Saiyan 4 assets and start renaming the bust files to match. So in my case, all of these files need to begin with TAB underscore 607. Do that for all of the bust files. And then we want to do the same thing for the hairstyles. The one thing to take note of with the hair textures is that there are a couple of different numbers in here. The ones that are number 200 and something are for the regular golden Super Saiyan transformations. Our mod won't use them, so we're going to ignore them. You want to find the hairstyle that's ID number is 25 or lower. Mine is 006 because Tobega's normal hairstyle is type 7, so we want to relabel my chosen Super Saiyan 4 hair TAB underscore 006. Okay, we're really close to being done. The last thing we need to do is edit the color of Tobega's fur. I do not know why, but But if we were to drop these files into the game now, Tobega would have this weird light brown fur instead of the normal red fur that LazyBone's mod normally uses. But it's easy to fix. You want to take the bust file that ends in dyt.emb, and you want to drag and drop it into the EMBPack program I told you to download at the beginning of this tutorial. This will create a folder that has all of the color assets as DDS files, and we can change the colors all we want. So you'll need some sort of image software that can edit .dds files. I'm using Photoshop with the NVIDIA plugin, but you can use Paint or something for free instead. Open the file labeled data000.dds, and these two colored lines at the bottom represent our CaC's fur. I don't know why exactly, but the computer seems to blend the two rather than using one or the other. So if we were to change this brown fur to red, but leave this yellow, it would give us an orange color for some reason. So what I do is make this yellow line black so it contributes no color data. And then take the brown line and color shift it to be red. Now in the anime, Goku and Vegeta have slightly different shades of red fur, so we can kinda make this whatever shade you want. Or hell, make it something else. If you want to make a Super Saiyan 4 blue Kaioken character, you can make that happen. But I'm sticking with red. If you really want to be accurate, you can dig into the Super Saiyan 4 Goku or Vegeta files and steal the color data from there, but that's too much time for this tutorial. Once we got that, let's save the file, and overwrite the original file. Make sure you save it as a DDS file, and, very important, save it as a DXT5 type DDS file. Long story short, this preserves the alpha channel, which the game needs to properly apply color. You can close Photoshop or whatever you're using, and let's get rid of this original bust color file. And then if we drag our updated color folder to EMBPack, it creates a new one for us. So with that done, we can select all of our modified Super Saiyan 4 assets, and we can drop them into our Time Patrollers folder in the game files. And now, if we open up the game, ta-da! Congratulations! You are now a Super Saiyan 4. Ooh, let's see how Super Saiyan 4 Tobega battles against Super Saiyan Blue Tobega. Ooh, this is gonna be epic. Eat your heart out, Super Dragon Ball heroes. And now, with all of that out of the way, you can finally roster every single transformed version of your CaC in a single game. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, I hope all of it works out for you, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!